Good morning, everyone. Good morning and happy Easter Sunday to you. Welcome to Alicia's Crafty Hobblop. It is Sunday, y'all, which typically is my favorite day of the week, as you know. Today it's a little bit strange. My students, as you know, we ended up having to switch Friday and Sunday this week. So I'm actually teaching tonight. And I don't know, it really bothered me as of yesterday evening. And I spoke to people here in the building and they said, you can't have class Easter Sunday. But we don't really have a choice. These students, that's not true. I have a choice. But it will mean that they'll lose like one whole class out of the term. And I already feel like they're at a disadvantage. So I've scheduled it at a time later this afternoon that hopefully won't conflict with them having Easter dinner with family, those of them that celebrate. Or there isn't a Passover Seder tonight, but it's still Passover. Like, I just feel terrible. I just don't see an alternative. And I thought about canceling it, and I wrote to the students a whole long email about it. I just feel like I don't want them to lose out on these hours of education, and there's no way to make it up this week. Between my schedule and theirs, there's just no way. So it feels very uncomfortable. Today's a work day, y'all. Now, you can see from the pillows behind me, I have hurt my back still pretty badly. I'm able to sort of do things in 15-minute increments. So yesterday I did like 15 minutes of cleaning, then 15 minutes of resting, then 15 minutes of crafting, then 15 minutes of resting. So I've got it to a place where I can at least do that every 15 minutes or so, which is great. I want to share with you something amazing that happened yesterday. Something truly amazing that will be, hopefully as touching for you as it was for me and for people here in this building. So I've told you all periodically that we've undergone some sort of strange frenzy in my neighborhood. Not all of Brooklyn or New York is going through this, or all of New York State, but specifically in our neighborhood, and we've heard in some other neighborhoods too, there was like food hoarding, where people would go in and buy like up everything. And I took photographs of the empty shelves, just because I think you should always document these things. And as a maker and a professor, I wanted to document it. And this went on for weeks where we couldn't get items. But y'all know that people in my building went with their vans deeper into Brooklyn and were able to get food for us, and that was amazing. And then my husband was amazing, and he got a food order from the Bronx, and we just all shared. But then my doctor decided that my doctor was not so comfortable with me eating food that was prepared by other people, because even if they're not visibly sick, they could be carriers. My building really, first of all, they were offended by this to begin with. Their house is, my place is clean. Their place, you could eat off the floor. But that's not what the doctor's saying. They're not in any way implying that they're not clean. They're saying that some people can be carriers and asymptomatic, so they may not feel sick or look sick, but they could be carrying the virus, and then they could pass it on to me by cooking. This is very hard for people in my building to understand. And so not only are they offended, they got worried because, of course, I didn't have staples. Like, we haven't, I've had less than 4 potatoes over an entire month in my house because for some reason, this neighborhood is potato crazy. You can't get French fries. You can't, it's insane. And the lineup for Whole Foods yesterday, y'all, was over an hour long. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. It was nuts. Of course, I didn't stand in it, but it was nuts. So we can't get potatoes, but they drove deep into Brooklyn, so they got big bags of rice, potatoes, and the grandmas are just amazing. There's always a pot of rice on. My favorite one is the one they make with the green olives in it and sofrito, and they make it for me almost nightly. And they've been making sure that they just share, and that's how everyone's been fine. Well, this whole thing with my doctor caused a hoopla because I didn't have things like potatoes and rice and beans and all the things the grandmas have been making sure I eat every day so that I have a protein and I have other things. And so when I tried to get delivery, there was like a 2-week wait. Now, I don't know if Lani knew that there was a 2-week wait, but I tried getting Target, I tried getting Walmart. I'm just now getting soups. They put 1 can of soup in boxes, in each box. What a waste of packaging. Like 1 can of soup in a box. When I had 3-4 times this weekend on Saturday, I had to go down and get boxes, and each time it was 1 can of soup. Yeah. So I guess Lani has figured out that we were having it rougher here, and she knew that I was struggling because I'm not supposed to be eating the food the grandmas make. So you're not going to believe what happened yesterday. So I hurt my back, and everybody's thinking in the building, okay, you need to walk. So if you walk, it was a beautiful day here. It was sunny. They were like, maybe you go out around 3 o'clock. It'll be less busy. They peeked their head out at 3. It was still a bit too busy. They're like, what about 3:30? Maybe 3:45. So try to walk around the blocks a few times. And also, one of the grandmothers needed one item from the store, and I didn't need. There's also a Diet Coke shortage here. We can't get any Diet Coke at all. So I ended up getting a bottle of Diet Pepsi, but that's a whole other story. So I figured I'll do that at the same time. I wore 2 masks to just be extra careful, and went to go stretch my back out because I can't go to a walking clinic right now. There is one open that is not for corona cases, but I still feel like I'm unsafe going. So I can't go, and I did send an email to my doctor. Maybe we can video conference this week and figure out some medicine to help me get over this. But in the meantime, I got to deal with it. So we decided, okay, I'm going to go for a walk. Well, while I'm out walking, who shows up at my apartment but Lani and her family? And unbeknownst to me, with bags and bags and bags of groceries. And folks, the kind of groceries that we can't get here. Fresh bakery bread. Now, Martha's down the street has it, and Whole Foods has it, but it's like $7 a loaf. Yeah, $6.99. So, with fresh bread, like the large containers of eggs, the yellow rice that I love, which everybody here has, but I don't have my own. You know, the grandmas always buy the big old 30-pound bag, so they always make it for me. All the beans, and thankfully, and Lani was so sweet because she got them canned, so I didn't have to soak them, and got me some to soak so that I'd have immediately, but also for after. Oh my goodness. My greatest sorrow is that I didn't get to meet Lani because I was not here. I was out walking my back problem off. But you got to meet Hiram, or you and your family got to meet Hiram. You got to meet the grandfather, I always tell you. So he carried everything upstairs, and thank goodness I wasn't gone long because Lani also delivered chicken. So I had to go right in the fridge. I cannot even tell you what was in this parcel. There was everything from jam to peanut butter, but there were also luxuries that we just haven't seen. Like cake. I couldn't believe it, Lani. Cake. And also items for the kids. Things that we just can't get around here right now. They have restocked our shelves. So now, now the Walmart soup's coming in. I could go down to the supermarket now and get soup, but we still can't get potatoes. And Lani sent a giant bag of potatoes. It's like more potatoes than any of us have seen all month. I know that sounds crazy. Never again will I take for granted a potato. It turns out I like potatoes a lot. I didn't realize that until this month. And so I saw those. I was like, whoa. I did share some because, it's more than I can eat. But the grandmas are going to make magic with them as they always do. And I shared some of the eggs because even though their eggs are back in stock here, they're super expensive. So the grandmas were grateful for that too. And also they also make us special Easter desserts. So the eggs came in handy. Let me tell you, Lani. But folks, to say that this was like an unbelievably generous package would be an understatement. I'll tell you that. Because I can only work 15 minutes at a time, it took me a long time to clean everything and put it away. A long time. And distribute some stuff to people in the building who cook for everybody. Like, there's another grandma in the building, she's older, and the other grandmas cook for her. So I brought some things for that too. So, Lani, you have no idea what you did. Or maybe you do know. Maybe you do know. It meant that the kids had a few extra things. It meant that I had the necessities that I have not had at all. And, my husband's been great, Lani. He's worked around. He's found a workaround for a lot of things. But you can't work around what you don't have. And Lani managed to go to a store. Here it's like well known. It's called Food Bazaar, but we don't have one very close. So Lani went to Food Bazaar and she found potatoes and rice and okay. It was super exciting, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. And like a huge blessing. So I already wrote to Lani yesterday. I was in tears, actually. And no one had her phone number. I was like, does anyone have her phone number? Because I do need to call you this week, Lani, and properly thank you. I really do. All of us are super grateful to you. It's funny because I have an arrangement with my postal person for tomorrow for pickup, and there's something in there for Lani. But it seems so small. And I know that's not why Lani did it. And I could have unpacked it and redone it after what you did, Lani, but that's not right either. I know that's not why you did it. You just did it to me. Your note was beautiful. Lani left me this beautiful note saying, we can do this together. And now it's going to make me teary again. Because I think that's how we got through. I think that's how Kayla and Pat ate. I think that's how everyone got what they needed. That's how, Sabrina, unbelievably crafty mom and son, made the whole building masks. We've gotten through because all of you have helped us. We're just really lucky. That's all I have to say. I feel very lucky, and so does everybody in my building. Yesterday, one of the grandmas said, when things go back to normal, we're going to make this right. And I was like, they know that. But until things are normal, thank you for helping us get stuff we couldn't get. Thank you, Lani. Oh, folks, if that wasn't an Easter blessing, I don't know what is. It still makes me really teary. All right, I promised y'all I'd tell you what mail came in, so I kept my word. Nadia C., Janaea Carmen, Green Tea, finally, Sarah Martin, Lorraine Barton, Marion Hollinger, Tree. There's actually 2 things from Tree. Lisa Pate, and Stamping Therapy. Those are the packages that I have to still do. Plus, there's 2 more out of the disinfecting bin, but I've already announced those. Those are the ones that you hadn't had announced yet. All right, so that came in, and ironically, my Easter stuff came in. Don't laugh. On Easter weekend. Now, what good is that now? I was cracking up, folks, because it's not, okay, I can kind of use the oval scalloped part, but it's like, this is clearly an Easter die. These were supposed to be little Easter shaker eggs. It's actually a really cute die set, and a little chickie and a bow. And then this is like I don't have any oval scallops, so that's kind of nice. And then there's a shaker piece, and then inside is an embossing piece that says Happy Easter. It's actually a really nice die set. I just wish I had it a couple of weeks ago. Because, folks, as of yesterday, your girl has no paper left behind. I used every single sheet and literally every little bit. Like, every little bit of the Michael's Hot Buy Easter pad. So I didn't love it. I told you all that. But it was the one that I liked the best out of all the ones that I found. I used every single sheet. There is not a scrap left, because this morning, while having my coffee, I was fooling around, y'all. I was working on some little flags. I was trying to take my scraps, like these are Maggie ones, and I was making all sorts of things, just testing them out while I was having my morning coffee. And I also was testing out bows for Miss Pat. So here's an interesting thing, folks. Well, okay. So Pat calls them flowers. If you watch Septeria 18's tutorial, they'd come out more like this if you make them like a flower. So you make them less fluffy, and you use thinner strips, and they do look like a flower, and they're pretty cute. And once you get the hang of this could be mindless crafting. If you took your scraps and just cut them down and had them ready at night, and you had your glue gun heated up, it goes pretty quick. It didn't take much to make these. I like them much better fluffy, but then they're more like bows than they are flowers. So you see the difference? This is like how Septeria 18 teaches it, and it does look like a flower. And I think this is more what Pat wants. But I liked them like this. So to get them like this, what I did was I followed the same instructions, but I fluffed them up a lot more. I took my pen, actually, and I used it like a tool to like round and fluff up all the pieces. And then I curled them upwards like this so that they had more dimension. So you can see that becomes more like a bow than a flower versus the flat version, which is like a flower. But I think Pat wants more like this, y'all, not the bows. But after making these, and yeah, I used my Sunny Day scraps that I've been saving for these because they're orange. So these will go off to Miss Pat in a little envelope. Those are 3. Once you get the hang of this, I know Velma said that she had some trouble doing them. Once you practice a couple of times, y'all, it's pretty simple. It's really pretty simple. It just takes a little bit of practice to get them done. And whether you like them the bow style or you like them the floral style, they're pretty cute for packaging. I was actually thinking that I have a Maggie swap that I'm working on. And I was thinking that these are pretty cute to make for people, kind of like my windmills to gift for packaging. If you have extra scraps left over. You don't always. Sometimes when I plan out a swap, I don't have any scraps left over. I have figured out how to finally get some of my leftover stuff to folks, but it's by packaging up a series of smaller envelopes. So over the next week, you're going to see probably I'm going to upload some videos of some shares because I finally figured out how to do it. But it means like people like Carmen getting like 8 envelopes or 10 envelopes, and the same thing with Jelly Bean. But it's the only way to get it to them. And because there's this concern that the post may shut down even temporarily in June, I don't want to wait, folks. So forgive me if there's lots of project sharing this week, or maybe I'll just mail them out and not do the project shares. I'm not sure yet. This week is looking a little hefty in terms of schoolwork, but maybe for people like Carmen who are on Instagram and not on YouTube, maybe I'll upload those. And maybe those people that tend to make videos, I won't upload those and we'll just wait till they receive them. The reason I say that is just that there's quite a few that have to go out and I just don't know if I'm going to have time to make all the videos, but I'll give it a good old try. I will, as you know, give it a good old try. I'm limited to 15-minute increments, so my hour of die cutting was very slow, very, very slow yesterday. And my house is not tidy right now because at 15-minute increments, I did not get through all of the tidying up. But I have a work day today, so I only get a little more tidying up, a little bit of resting before my class, and yeah, and a little celebrating too, because it is a holiday weekend, y'all. It is Passover and Easter, and we want to take time for that too. So I'm hoping that whatever you're doing today that involves chocolate and chocolate bunnies, I really do hope so, and or matzah. If it's matzah, I hope it's chocolate dip matzah. And I hope that you're at least spending time with family. And if you're not, I hope you're Zooming or FaceTiming or Skyping with people that you care about. Or texting, that works too. Wishing for you the happiest and healthiest Sunday. To Lani and her family, thank you, and thank you. That's all I have to say right now. That and happy Easter. All right, y'all. And when I say that this is one amazing community, I cannot, really, those words seem so empty in contrast to the kind of generosity I've seen during this crisis. And it just makes me think that people can be the most wonderful things on this earth. That's all I have to say for now. All right, y'all. Take real good care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.